Hi, everyone. It's Sarah. Welcome to Unmuzzled, a podcast. We spell that P-A-W-D, like the dog. Presenting sponsors, you're up.
Canine Cruise is the place to take your pet. They offer dog and cat boarding, dog daycare, pet retail, and mindful day school. With over 12,000 square feet of indoor space and a huge yard, they are the one-stop shop for professional pet care in Chicago. Bark Pouch makes 5 mess-free lickable treat recipes in 2 sizes for a delightful time with your dog or dogs. Their grab-and-go pouches make warm weather fun and easy breezy. Whether you're traveling, enjoying a long walk, patio season, or family and friend gatherings, Bark Pouch's irresistible, all human-grade treats let you focus on what matters most: time with your dog or dogs and loved ones. Kiki's Corner Natural Pet Foods in downtown Winfield, just a block south of CDH Hospital and the railroad tracks. Kiki's has all your food and health aid needs for dogs and cats. Kiki's Corner for a healthy, happy pet.
Thank you, presenting sponsors. All right, so a few weeks ago, I had Kimberly Kingen on, who is actually one of our presenting sponsors, who you will hear at the end of this podcast. But I loved that podcast. I just really enjoy hearing from artists about photography, especially. And because Live Like Rue Foundation uses photographers a lot for our bucket lists, they're really important to what we do. And as I mentioned on that podcast, my biggest thing is that we never ever want to take advantage of artists, whether it be Eric with Rendition, who used to play our happy hours and events, whether it be artists that do murals and that kind of thing, like on our office wall. Photographers, the same thing. They always tell me, Sarah, like we got part of this or we got some of this, and Robyn is also that kind of person. And I will tell you right now, her photography, the best way that I can describe it is like powerful, and you feel something right away with it. And when Brandy, who is our Live Like Rue board member, showed me what Robyn did with her dog's photos, I was like, okay, somehow we have to get her. So hi, Robyn.
Hi, thank you so much. Oh my gosh, what a great introduction. I really appreciate that.
Yes. So it's called Haute Dog. So I want just like, a podcast, like you have to see it because it is absolutely stunning. And I was just looking at your website. I didn't even realize like you do all the dress things, you do the vanity fur, which is just like you look at these images and they're just incredible. But before we get to the images, I'll show you guys one from a photo shoot that she did with some Live Like Rue dogs. This was Zeus, and the photos, like, we'll show some more later, but this is just like a teaser, okay, because I can't talk about all the photos and then not show you guys any, but there's more coming. You have to watch the video. If you're listening to the podcast, go to her website and just look at the magic that she creates. But Robyn, I want to kind of, because when I was doing the research on you, I know this was like not your major, and like you did a studying on other things, but tell us how you got into this.
Yeah, so not even close. I definitely did not start like as a classically trained photographer or anything like that. So my degree is in neurobiology, physiology, and behavior, heavily science-based background, did a lot of research, a lot of time in laboratories and things like that, and then went on to get my master's in forensic science, and then spent 14 years with the FBI, doing a lot of crazy things, just everything from crimes against children to cyber counterintelligence. And ultimately, I learned photography in my crime scene photography class in grad school. And so, unlike a lot of people who learn it from kind of the creative angle, I learned it from a very rigid, very specific standpoint. And so it was all rule-based, very much about like how to do the exposure, the lighting, everything exactly correctly so that there was no distortion in the images. It all had to be completely true to real life. And so then as soon as I knew what those rules were, I also knew how to break them and make it a much more fun whimsical type of image. And so that is how I applied it to creating our style. And yeah, I started taking portraits of my own dog, Jake. He was my Bernese Mountain Dog and kind of the inspiration behind everything that I do. Despite the fact that, I've got the neurobiology degree, I never really did find a way to get that magic potion that would make him live forever. And so my mission was to do that through photos, and not just like, oh, here's a cute picture of my dog under a tree. I wanted like the essence of Jake. I wanted to know that that one part of him, that his personality would always be with me and he would live on forever.
I knew I was gonna cry, and now like I see your tears because I was reading about Jake, and Kimber and Hannah before, like literally just an hour ago, and the pictures are stunning, like they're stunning. But that is like exactly how I feel about these pet owners who, and I don't have enough pictures of Rue. Like we have this foundation now,
Yeah.
and I keep using the same things because in 2015 I was so focused on like trying to figure out, how to like deal with this cancer diagnosis that I was not at that time thinking about, having all these keepsakes.
Right.
And for people where their dogs or cats or horses, guinea pigs, anything are getting to be very sick and near the end, I hate when it's too late. And we've had that. I know you had Remy too with us, who really had a bad eye, and you had a beautiful post about this because you showed the original photo with the eye that was filled with cancer, and then you showed the edited version, and you spoke about like, sometimes those things that you want to edit out are also like part of the moment, it's part of the animal.
It's true. And in a lot of cases, we photograph a lot of celebration of life sessions. And just this past weekend, we had a dachshund and half of his face was taken up by an intranasal cancer, and same thing. So I presented both options to the owner because I never want to presume how the owner wants to remember their dog. It's not up to me to decide that. So I want simply to be able to present people with the possibilities that our artwork can offer. And so for her, she has now seen the original portraits with Rigby and his cancer, unfortunately, there on the side of his face. And then I also presented her with a version with a completely clean muzzle so that it was how she knew Rigby for the bulk of his life. And ultimately, we're going to deliver both options of all the different photos so that depending on the intent and when she's looking at the portraits, like what it is that she is hoping to feel, what emotion she needs to go through. Because I personally think that, part of it is processing the grief and is processing, how the end did come about. She'll have both of those options, her perfect boy and then the battle that he fought so hard.
Yeah, and for you, so this is always a question I ask the photographers because I don't know how you do it. I was at one of them to get like some behind the scenes. It was a friend of mine who was losing her dog to cancer, and we actually ended up doing the photo shoot at the end of an event because the photographer was right there and was like, "Let's do it here. We're at this beautiful venue," but it's hard. I mean, do you sometimes like just go home and kind of collapse with emotion?
Well, I don't even make it home. Yeah, so our end of life, celebration of life sessions are hands down the best and the worst sessions that we do. I put my heart and soul into every piece of work that I create, but I tell people that Jake's legacy doesn't just live on in the portraits that I have of him, that his legacy gets to live on in the portraits of every dog and horse that I create, because I'm putting his memory and I'm putting the emphasis and the importance of me knowing that how much those photos mean to me into creating equally as amazing portraits for people to have of their own dogs and to remember them by. So it is not uncommon for everybody to be crying by the end of the session. And honestly, I think that that's important. It brings a piece of humanity to the job. Like, we aren't an assembly line. We don't do factory type work. Each of our clients really, truly has a place in our heart. And yeah, it gets emotional.
Yeah, I mean, like this shot when I was pulling his photos, like it's just like there's not a human in the shot at all, and it's like,
Right.
like that is how you want to remember your dog. Even talking to Kimberly a few weeks ago, like to get that shot, it's not easy, and even she said like her end of life photos, like she probably does like double what she would
Yeah.
normally, yeah, to make sure you get the shot, but like this shot, and like you do all of these like gorgeous, but this shot just like says like so much. So I know you mentioned like the forensic background, but like, and I know you have certain like places where you love to shoot, like, and I know like Brandy's shoot was like similar, like but
Mhm.
you have like this style that is just like I've not seen it before, and it's like the colors, like the angles, like I think the angles are so important. This one of Zeus 2 on the left, where like you have that angle, that is what makes it so unique. So how did you figure out how to do that? It's amazing.
I mean, it's been a lot of trial and error. So we've been in business for over 10 years now. We're actually celebrating our 10-year anniversary this year, just a few months ago. And so it didn't come out, straight away. We worked with a lot of shelters and rescues and photographed dogs of every temperament, every type of personality, shape, size, you name it. And over, I think, the first 2 years or so, really that's kind of how I found what I was gravitating towards in images. And that's ultimately what kind of set us aside as far as I love color. I think that it's happiness in those portraits. I think that dogs are just like the happiest beings on earth, and I want that to come through. And I know a lot of people do stunning work with black and white. I mean, black and white is so emotive, but for us it's just, that's kind of where I found my eye continually drawn towards, is the goofy, silly funniness. Something about it's almost like a caricature where they hone in on the feature or the quirk of the personality that um, is most prominent, or in our case, is the most important to the pet's owner. And they emphasize that in the portrait. And so, in very similar ways, like a caricature, that's kind of how our style developed and just grew larger than life. So, that's what we tell people, is that every dog has a larger than life personality, and that we're going to be the ones to encapsulate that for them.
It's so great. It's so great. So we should mention, because I'm always like, hey, let's get Robyn up here in Chicago. But you're in like
I love
Dallas.
Chicago. I'm here. There.
You're in like Dallas Fort Worth area, basically.
Correct. Yes. So
And
we are based in Dallas, Fort Worth. We have a 7-acre studio property here, complete with our vintage truck and the red barn and hay fields and all sorts of good stuff that ultimately was designed for dogs, because we would be in sessions with dogs who are selective or reactive or just easily distracted even. And I wanted to build out a space where not only did I have completely unique sets that I knew people enjoyed, but I also can control the space. And then we photograph on location all around DFW and all over the world. We've done sessions in London, Paris, Rome, all over the States. And it is a blessing to be able to do what I love and take that anywhere that I go.
yeah, I think that's kind of like my next question for you, because and I know you guys would like listen to the podcast every week or get sick of me like hearing me say this, but like I left, really good paying job with a lot of great benefits.
Security.
Yeah, yeah, security, to do what I loved, and I've not looked back. Like, do I have as much money? No. Can I buy that pair of shoes now? No, but I'm so much happier, like, because every day I get to do what I love. Is it still stressful? Do I worry? Yes. Do I, if I don't have enough clients one week, then I've got to, make ends meet. And I don't rely on my husband for that. Like, I am my own person that is carrying my weight here, So, do you have? And I'm already assuming the answer is no. But do you ever look back, kind of, on that forensic science career? Like that. Like, that's a whole nother podcast, which I know you can't even say anything because it was the FBI. But like, that's like a really cool job. And so that's my thing. Do you have any like regrets, or do you ever look back, or is it just full speed ahead?
Definitely not regrets, but it was an incredible part of my life and one that I am also equally grateful to have had. I got to do some of the most wonderful things, and the mission truly was just pulled at me, and I was so grateful to be a part of it. Ultimately, it kind of came to a head where I didn't have the time to balance both photography and the bureau. And so I kind of had to sit down and something had to give. And so after 14 years and moving up the chain of command and like being in a supervisory role, that part I maybe regret a little bit because being a supervisor sucks the fun out of everything.
Yeah, totally.
But yeah, I definitely don't look back with anything but fond memories and happiness that was a part of me. It was a huge part of my identity for quite some time. And really now the way I describe it is that my life is literally puppies and rainbows. And that is just a really hard thing to beat.
Yeah. I mean, it really is. It really is hard to beat. Well, thank you for all you do for Live Like Gru. And I know, Brandy's always looking to you if I post anything in that area. So I so appreciate it. And I know even for Zeus's owners, when he passed away, they were so, so thankful to have those pictures. I mean, that absolutely stunning. Like, I feel like if I had a session with you, like, I would have to have a room and just like cover the room with your pictures, because like I would want every single one of them.
We had someone turn our photos into wallpaper, which was pretty awesome.
It's so genius. But everybody, honestly, go check out the website. Like, again, if you're listening, you obviously can't see the photos that we've shared, but like, you have to go on there and check out the Vanity Fur, which is just, it's epic. When you see those photos, like, all my friends would die for that here. Like, they would love that so much. It's so unique. But anything that, any like sneak peeks into the future? Do you have any future plans or anything else that you kind of dream of and want to do?
Oh gosh. So, I mean, there is a really big thing on the horizon, but unfortunately it is so nascent that I'm not quite comfortable sharing it yet, just because it's going to be a massive undertaking and probably the biggest thing we've done for the business. But hopefully soon I can share a little bit more about that. Really though, I would encourage anybody listening, wherever you are in the US and with whatever photographer you prefer and you're drawn to, and whatever style or budget that you have to apply to it, get professional photos taken with your pet. Get in the photos with your pet. I don't care, how you feel about the way you look. I desperately wish I had more portraits with Jake and Kimber and Hannah, and Fletcher. We lost him last year. So truly though, do it now. Don't wait necessarily until something happens. Do it now, do it multiple times. Like, do it throughout their life. I did 2 different sessions with Jake, one in his prime and one towards the end. And they are my most cherished possessions.
Yeah, I can imagine. He's stunning too, by the way. Like, he's just like the most gorgeous dog ever. So very photogenic. Like, that's the other thing. My 2.6-pound Chihuahua is not as photogenic anymore at 16 years old, but like, we try our best to get him to, turn his head at least and look like.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Jake was a rescue and spent the first like multiple years of his life terrified of everything, and then slowly coaxed him out of his shell, and he was the best boy.
Yeah, and it's so tough to lose those type of animals that you actually get to turn around and then unfortunately pass away. I have something for burners too. Like I have so many clients that have burners and like they're just like seriously like the sweetest dogs.
They're just impossible not to love. Their goofy faces. I'm struggling right now because I don't know if I can get another one or if Jake's just gonna take that
Oh,
one spot.
yeah.
I was very fortunate, however, to find, and I'll share this simply because I know a lot of people affiliated with Live Like Rue, they're going through what I went through with Jake, in that they don't know that they'll ever be able to love another dog as immensely as their heart dog that they have now. I definitely thought it was a one and done. I thought that you were blessed with a heart dog and you just got to love the rest of them. And I have been so fortunate to find out that you do get more than one. And so Puzzle is my St. Bernard, and she's named Puzzle because she was born with the matching heart mark on her neck that Jake had on his head.
Oh.
So she was the puzzle piece that fit into him, and he 100% sent her to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my God. I love that sentiment. And I think that'll heal some broken hearts for sure to
Yes.
hear that, or to be broken hearts, which is
Yes.
almost worse. That anticipatory grief is so real. Oh, it's the
It
worst.
is hard.
Yeah.
And you don't know when or how they'll present themselves. And I've always known you can't force it. You can't make a dog fill that role, but I left my heart open to it, despite how shattered it felt after losing Jake. And I could not be more thankful that Puzzle came in and, swept it all back together.
Yeah, yeah, and it helps that it's a big dog that's gonna probably sit on your lap a lot, right?
She's a hoot. She's such a goober. We're launching her second birthday photos on Wednesday. So today's, 2 days. I cannot wait because they're the cutest thing I've ever seen.
Oh, I love that. I can't wait either. Robyn, thank you. And then once your other thing hopefully gets announced, maybe you come
Yes.
back on and we can celebrate that. How about that?
Wonderful. Sarah, thank you so much. It's been such a pleasure.
You're a great guest. I appreciate you. Everybody, seriously, go check out the website. We got to get her somehow to Chicagoland. Thank you.
Bye, Sarah.
Guys, seriously though, her work is absolutely stunning. The photos I showed do it justice, but there's even more on her website. So check it out. Supporting sponsors.
Thank you so much to our supporting sponsors. Give the gift of joy and memorable moments of furry loved ones with a gift card from Kimberly Kingen Photography. For more details, please visit her website at KimberlyKingen.com or contact her directly at her email, kimberly@kimberlykingen.com. The Canine PT is Chicago's highest rated dog physical therapy clinic, and they're dedicated to enhancing the lives of your four-legged companions as they age or when recovering from an injury. They also offer a discount for rescue dogs. For more information, visit theK9PT.com. That's THEK9PT.com. Anything is Plausible is Chicago's premier dog training company. They offer group classes for every stage of your dog's life and have a talented team of behavior specialists to work through any issues that need modification using positive reinforcement. Check out Anything is Plausible. Liz Starks at Guaranteed Rate. Check with Liz for the absolute best mortgage options. She helps when others can't and even calls it rescue loans. Buyers, sellers, investors, give Liz a call. She can lend in all 50 states. NMLS number 224526.
Thank you, sponsors. Thank you, everyone, for listening and watching. And thank you so much to Robyn, a wonderful guest. I love her.